Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart along with Bruce Barber. Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing well, JW, and I say this all the time, so I'll say it again. This is going to be an amazing episode.
Absolutely. We have the Dean of our UNH's Tagliatela College of Engineering. This is going to be the toughest part of the show for me.
You've got this.
Dr. Ronald Harichandran. How did I do?
You did great.
Ron, from here on out, we're going to call Ron.
Ron. So
I got
nice to have you.
Harichandran right.
Yes, you twice.
Twice.
Let's
now
quit.
I'm just showing off,
Yes.
right? Quit while I'm ahead. Ron, welcome to the show. It's great to meet you. Thanks for being
Nice
here.
to meet you.
We were just talking,
Bruce.
this is an amazing program that we have, and we'll get to that, but how are we so lucky to have you here at the University of New Haven?
It was not a planned journey. I think it was a little bit unplanned because most of my career, in terms of my academic career, was at Michigan State University. A very different kind of institution, large land grant, research-oriented institution. But it had a flavor also of caring for students and so on. So it was not the U of M, it's Michigan State, so it was still second tier, and so it's still a little bit more student-oriented, so that was something that I really enjoyed there. But more so, I think I also enjoy building things and taking things to a higher level. And I think I have an altruistic gene that could be both a strength and a curse. But I always like to help the underdogs, if you want to talk about it. So when I was at Michigan State, we were the underdogs to the University of Michigan, of course. And so I saw a great opportunity in, when the job came up here at the University of New Haven. My graduate programs I studied at MIT in Boston, so I liked the East Coast. And so coming back to the East Coast, being close to the coast and all that was
J-Dub, not everybody can just say that sentence. I studied at MIT
Yes.
in Boston. Yes.
Yes. You actually have 2 degrees from MIT, is that correct?
That's correct. But I came all the way from New Zealand to get those.
So I was looking at your CV, right? Your resume, your curricula vitae, and your dissertation at MIT was space-time variation of earthquake ground motion. What the hell is that?
So
Put simply.
my interest in earthquakes came because New Zealand is an earthquake country.
Okay.
It's a fault zone that splits the country. So a lot of people are interested in earthquakes. I've experienced a few there. So I wanted to study earthquakes, and so when I came to MIT, that's a topic. Then they were working. They had a grant in that area. So basically, the concept of my work is that when earthquakes happen, people think that everything moves together, right? So when we design bridges or buildings, we think everything shakes like this. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't, because for long bridges or for large structures, the different foundations may shake slightly differently. So how does that impact the structure, and what does it do? Is it worse? Is it better? That was really what I was...
It's got to be so interesting, the energy when you've got suspended bridges,
Exactly.
right?
All kinds of structures that are large have this. So up to the time of my work, mostly people were designing things to shake together. So I was really trying to characterize how does it shake differently, and how can people then use that in order to improve the designs of structures and so on. So.
That's incredible. So so you bring that to us. Thank you. This expertise, right? So talk about some of the main ways people would think about our College of Engineering.
Yeah. So I know we have changed quite a bit over there. I've been here 13 years, so that's a long time. But I've been, I think, fortunate to be able to hire a lot of new faculty and really to mobilize people to evaluate the way that the college is functioning from the time that I came here. So we were great when I came here in terms of providing an education to students, and that still remains the essence of what we do. But in today's landscape, where a lot of colleges are competing for talent for students, and the only way tuition-driven institutions like us can survive is really to raise our impact and our reputation. And so that's been a drive for me to do that. So by hiring the new faculty, we've been able to create thrust in particular areas that really have allowed us to shine and to be nationally recognized, even internationally so in certain areas.
Engineering is such a broad field of study. So in our College of Engineering, our Tagliatela College of Engineering, what are some of these educational programs and fields of study?
Yeah, so actually, while we say we are engineers, we also have computer science and chemistry within the College of Engineering, so it's even broader, if you will. But within engineering, we have, all the traditional fields, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and then computer science, and as I said, we have cybersecurity as a separate discipline, and then chemistry as well, chemical engineering, I think I mentioned that. So we have the full suite of most engineering programs that people would find even at a large university. So that's an attractor because students, when they come in, they're kids or 19-year-old, they don't quite know what they want to do sometimes. Some are very focused, others want to shift, and they want the ability to be able to shift from one to another, and we allow that.
Wow.
Right, because we have everything. So that is an attraction.
And the other thing that must be nice for you, of course, a college education is a big financial commitment. So, obviously families are thinking about return on investment. Yes. And I was just, I saw an article recently that showed kind of the top 10 careers that would start at above $100,000 a year, and it was all some flavor of engineering, pretty much.
Yeah, so it is a rewarding profession, certainly. The highest incomes right now probably are in cybersecurity and computer science, because of the demand in those areas and data AI, data science. But engineering is up there, and you may not start at 100, but very soon you'll be up there. And there is a variation between the disciplines, one field versus another in terms of salary potential. But one should not pursue a career just because of what one might earn, right? Mm-hmm. You got to have a passion for it. You got to like what you do. You're going to be spending a lot of your time working, and you better enjoy it. Otherwise, you're going to be bored or disillusioned. Right? So we don't want that, right? So we always advise students, pursue your passion. Find what you really like, what you want to do, and then pursue that.
And cybersecurity has been huge for the University of New Haven, for the Tagliatela College of Engineering, for our students. That's something that affects everybody's life now. So cybersecurity, what is the state of cybersecurity now in our society versus what you think it's going to be in the future?
Well, cybersecurity is here to stay, right? I think, and we see that, mostly we hear about the negative aspects of hacking and into people's accounts, individuals, controlling elections. It's the whole gamut, it's going to be
disinformation,
it's going to be a part of warfare. So it really now encompasses all aspects of our lives. And so the bad guys, so to speak, are always going to be there and getting more sophisticated. And we've got to train students, graduates, to be able to protect the society, to protect our institutions against these types of attacks.
Do they do that thing where you have the cybersecurity students try to hack into things so that you can find the vulnerabilities?
In fact, we are recognized by the National Security Agency. We are only one of 21 universities in the whole country that is designated a Center of Excellence in Cyber Operations.
By the NSA?
By the NSA.
Wow.
And cyber operations is the offensive security. Okay, so there's only 21.
Okay.
There are other schools, there are about 300 schools or more that are in the area of cyber defense, which is about how to protect and defend. So we do teach students. We don't want them to go there, but we want to know what the potential is.
I'm nice to all the students, but I'm super nice to those students.
Yeah. So that certainly is something that, and another program we have in cybersecurity is we have a very handsome scholarship program funded by the National Science Foundation in collaboration with the NSA. Provides very handsome stipends, $25,000 for the last year of undergrad, $35,000 stipend for each year of the graduate program. But it's a way of providing students to work in cybersecurity for the federal, state, or tribal governments. Otherwise, the companies are paying so much that they grab all the talent, and so this is a way of trying to present some talent to the government.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously, everyone's talking about the future of AI.
Of course.
And obviously, we want to prepare our students to operate in that world. So what are some of the things we're doing here on campus?
Yeah, so again, we had an early entry into AI. 10 years ago, it was called data science. So we actually launched a master's program in data science in San Francisco, in partnership with funded by outside investors and in partnership with an external entity. So, and we quickly moved it here to campus a few years later, ready to run, and it's very industry-oriented, educating graduates to really go work in industries. And really half of the data science curriculum now is AI. And so in about a year, we are going to be launching a master's in AI, which is a little bit more focused and structured around the new tenets of AI that have emerged in just the last couple of years. It's a rapidly advancing field. Obviously, the work has been done under covers for a decade before OpenAI released ChatGPT.
So that's interesting. So it was considered data science, and then you also hear machine learning, right? And
machine learning is a part of data science, and now it's
interesting.
It's a
and
key
now
piece of
neural
AI.
networks, I think those are fascinating, right?
Right. So these disciplines are not, neural networks is something people have been talking about for 30 to 40 years. But the computing power was not there to do it in real time like the way it is now. So it is really a maturation of the computing power that we have. Our phones do what a room full of computers did at MIT in the 50s, right? So,
Wow,
so it is that confluence of power with the theory that has made AI
Watch this.
be what it is now.
I'm going to ask a very nerdy question. This is going to be good. This is going to be impressive. Is Moore's law still holding true? Do you know what Moore's law is?
No. What is this?
It blows me away. Every year and a half, the computing power doubles. And this was recognized by a guy named Moore in the 60s?
Yeah.
And it is held true. So it doubles the computing power or the storage power.
Yeah, it really is the computing power. So, from big transistors that used to be vacuum tubes to these tiny things, so by condensing the technology, we've been able to maintain the speed of computing and improve it and double it. And
Look at how shocked he is.
I
that
am.
I
How
knew
do you
that.
know this?
You are absolutely
How do you know
dumb.
this?
I'm interested in things besides radio. I'm more than just a shock jock.
That's a mic drop moment if I've ever heard one. That's pretty darn good.
You looked absolutely
I am. I'm still shocked.
stunned.
and people were thinking that we are approaching the limits of how small we can make things without things getting too hot and inefficient and so on. So we are approaching that limit.
Nanotechnology. Yes.
But
Moore's-
now
yes,
this
Moore's
new
law.
field of
Yes.
so-called quantum computing is emerging. So that, we don't know, that's early stages yet.
So explain briefly, what is quantum
So
computing?
it's really a different way. It's not, regular computing is done in so-called bits, 0 or 1. Okay, quantum can have multiple stages. So in fact, it can have 3 stages. And
Wow.
so you have to change everything to adapt to quantum computing. But if it happens, it's going to tremendously, again, increase the power of computing. So people are always chasing it, right? We want to do more with all the time, so we keep chasing the dream.
Only a matter of time till we're out of the pictures, you go.
Apparently, yeah. Maybe in season 8 we'll be replaced by AI.
2 bots.
Before we get out of here, we're running out of time. I wanted to have you talk about the connection with radio and engineering. You guys were chatting about that, which I thought was really interesting.
That's right, and this is a wonderful story that on our campus, 50 actually, so it's more like we're in the 51st year of WNHU, our campus radio station. The FCC had opened up some bandwidth to educational institutions 53 years ago, so a group of engineering students here at the university were the ones that filled out all the applications. You have to have maps of where your signal's going to be, how powerful, how high. That was all done by our engineering students. We went on the air 3 years later in 1973. So that's another, it's a nice place to close, is the way that there really are interdisciplinary ways,
Yeah, of
so
course.
many, to use engineering.
Of course, we have a team right now that we call the Mars Rover Project. It's about building a Mars rover, and our students just in their second year competed in the Utah desert
Wow.
at the Mars Desert Station, and they in an international competition. Electrical engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, all coming together to build this rover, and they placed very well for the second year with a 7-person team. So this is what UNH does. We are not that large, lean, mean, out to win.
Done.
Yeah, I think that you talk about a mic drop moment. There
Our
it is.
work
That's
here
how
is done, J-Dub.
It is. If there's your elevator pitch and why students should come to the University of New Haven.
Yes.
That's it.
Simple.
That's it. All right. Well, time to wrap things up. We'd like to thank Dr. Ronald Harichandran. I did okay again, right?
That's a three-peat right
Yep.
there.
Ron, the dean of our UNH Tagliatela College of Engineering. Ron, thanks for being here. Learned a lot.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Bruce, you continue to impress and amaze.
Moore's Law, J-Dub, Moore's Law.
I got it circled here.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For Dr. Bruce Barber, for Ron, I'm JW. Thanks for joining us here on Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. We'll see you next time, everybody.